manera no funciona. Y no quieres escuchar que la gente capacite en el escenario y diga, lo que yo hice hace 13 años, no, es lo que hice anoche. Porque las cosas han cambiado. Y no hay mejor trabajo que trabajar en esta compañía o en esta industria. Y simplemente vean a su alrededor, pero habiendo dicho eso, no es fácil. Es sencillo y es una gran diferencia. No es fácil ser rechazado, no es fácil hacer tantas cosas a la vez y tener que gestionar tantas cosas en nuestra vida y tener esa fortaleza, esa cosa que nos hace comprometernos cuando no tenemos que responderle a nadie. Es muy fácil esconderse detrás de resultados pasados en vez de meterse a las trincheras. Y por eso esta llamada el día de hoy es tan importante. Esta mujer, Ronda, está en las trincheras y no creo que haya estado fuera de las trincheras nunca. Ella tiene muchos reconocimientos, pero no fue algo rápido o fácil. Entonces, cuando vemos el éxito de la gente y él hizo millonario número 77, ganó Espíritu de Isagenix 2 veces y ha estado en muchos grupos especiales y siempre está comprometida, siempre está en las Zooms. Su nombre siempre está ahí, ganándose viajes, pero no es fácil. Y cuando tomé este puesto, tuvimos conversaciones y esta mujer ha sido súper generosa. Lo dije la semana pasada. Es extraño como la gente que nunca vino a hacer la junta de nadie más ya no está. Y la gente que está aquí está comprometida al todo. No sé si conocen a Ronda Coallier. Personalmente es una de esas personas. Tiene un corazón enorme, completamente transparente y opera desde un lugar interno de ganar, ganar. Si Kathy llega al número 1, ella le está echando porras. No se siente amenazada por ello. Es esa persona que apoyará a todos, muy segura de quién es ella y de que está haciendo lo correcto. Y contribuye tras bambalinas de manera que la mayoría de ustedes no saben. Y trabaja arduamente para hacer que esta sea una máquina que funcione bien. Ronda, no sé qué más decir de ti. Te quiero, te adoro. Estoy muy agradecida por este momento en el tiempo porque tú y yo nos volvimos muy, muy buenas amigas, muy cercanas. Y me emociona escuchar tu historia y me encantaría que empezaras desde el principio. ¿Por qué Isagenix? ¿Cómo ha sido tu experiencia? Millonaria 77, pero no de un día para otro. ¿Y cómo fue en aquel entonces cuando comenzaste? Así que ayúdenme a dar la bienvenida a Ronda a la llamada. Gracias, Lisa. Hola a todos. Estamos haciendo el trabajo más increíble en el planeta, lo creo firmemente. A mí me presentaron Isagenix en mayo del 2002. El mes que viene es mi aniversario número 22. Muchas gracias con Isagenix. Y antes de Isagenix, de 18 a los 20 trabajé para
school. My mom wanted me to go to college, and I was like, yeah, that'd be a huge waste of money, Mom. I didn't even go to high school, okay? I was very bored in school. I don't know why, but I was, and I never really applied myself. So when I graduated from high school, she said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to travel the world. And she said, okay, go to a travel industry trade school. So I did that, and I was top of the class. I got straight A's in that. I left that travel industry trade school. It was only like 9 months. And I got a job with the airlines working on the ground in reservations. People used to have to call in back in those days. There was no computer. And so from 18 to 21, I worked for the airlines. And I was having
pour les lignes aériennes et je m'amusais. J'étais à la maison.
For $12 and It was amazing. I was traveling all over the world. And at 21 years old, I went up to New York City for the weekend, Lisa, to meet this really amazing guy that I had met in Fort Lauderdale. And we were going to have a date. And I get up there and my friends are on the airplane and I landed and they're like, oh, come out with us tonight. Come out with us tonight. We're going out with this group of people, blah, blah, blah. And they were name dropping all these amazing places. And I said, okay. So I went and I met a man there. And that night he asked me to marry him. I was 21 years old. And if you asked me in high school what I was going to do, what my career path was, and I'm not ashamed to say this because this was just where I was, okay? I would say to you, I'm going to marry a rich man and travel around the world. That was my career path in high school, okay? That's all I knew. I didn't think I had any of this success in me yet, you guys. And so I married the rich man, traveled around the world. I saw the most beautiful places from 21 to 27, the most beautiful people. I had the most incredible experience celebrating and supporting my husband as he did international business deals. I went to Moscow. I was in Europe and the south of France all the time. I mean, I was just having a blast. But we got divorced when we realized we really were not aligned. And at 27 years old, I found myself right back into the 9 to 5, right back into the normal world, right? No more was this magic. And I got some great jobs. And I got a job with Lancome Cosmetics. I did really well. I got a job with Dr. John Gray running his seminar division. That's from my marriage. We worked with John Gray when I was married. So I ran John Gray's seminar division. And then he just shut it down after 7 years. So I was about 34 years old. I was about $40,000 in debt. And quite frankly, you guys, I had never taken care of myself, really. I mean, I had some good jobs, but I hadn't really developed that part of me. And John Gray called me up and he shared this opportunity with me. And I was very passionate about health. And I had healed my body from an incurable disease before Isagenix. And so I wanted people to understand like how they could heal, what they could do. I was about ready to go to school and figure out how I could become like a health coach, like a holistic health coach. And that's when John Gray called me and told me his story, Lisa. And he was like, I'm down 20 pounds. He's like, I feel 20 years younger. He's like, you have to come try this. He's like, if you love it, I'll show you how you can make some retirement income. And I was like, oh, I need that, right? So here I was, you guys, at 35 years old, $40,000 in debt. I joined the company. I fell madly in love with the products. I fell madly in love with the vision that Jimmy Smith brought to me, eventually, which was how to create a team and how to have leverage in your life and how to have freedom and never have to work in an office again. And I was so excited about all of it, Lisa, and I failed miserably for the first 3 years. And I just want to talk to everybody that's on this call today. If it is going slower than you thought, if you are not a Lisa or a Jeff Beebe or someone that just can enroll people, and just make it happen from the get-go, don't worry. I want to talk to you because you have in your hands something that can absolutely transform your life, and it doesn't have to go fast, but you do have to have a plan. So I jumped in, Lisa. Failed miserably for the first 3 years, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what I learned during that time.
Hey, Rhonda, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't feel like we ever fail miserably, right? We always learn, and it's always an experience. So what do you mean by that?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What I mean was I was not enrolling people. I was not enrolling people. I mean, I would do 1 or 2 here or there. I was petrified of rejection. Kathy Coover would get on the phone and coach me for 30 minutes and tell me, say this, do that, do this, go call your people. And I'd get off the phone with her and I couldn't do it. I was so frozen with fear of rejection, with not knowing what to say and what to do. And, but those 3 years that I was in that experience, I went to every single event. I bought every single book. I listened to, I around the clock studied and immersed myself in this industry, in sales, in network marketing. I went to every single training that Isagenix put on. I cheered on all the people walking across the stage. I was working on myself during that time, Lisa. And one of the things I want to say to people, if you find you're in that position right now where maybe, you're here and you're showing up and you're listening and you're doing the work and maybe you're frozen a little bit, maybe you're taking action, but you're not getting results. One of the things I realized is that practicing is so important, you guys. And I didn't do it in the beginning, and then I started to do it. And when I mean practicing, Lisa, I mean practicing what I would say if someone said, "What do you do?" Today, a lot of times, if someone says to me, "What do you do?" I'll just tell you straight up what I say. I say to people, "Well, could I ask you a quick question?" And they say yes. And I say, "Okay, it's going to be a little personal, but if you'll go there with me, I can tell you what I do." And I'll say, "Is that okay?" And they'll say yes. So I've got 2 yeses from them. And then I say, "Okay, if I gave you a magic wand right now, and in the next 30, 60, 90 days, you could change anything you want in regards to your health and your wealth, could you tell me what it is?" And then they tell me, "I would like this, or I need that, or this, or whatever." And I say, "Great, what else?" And then they say, another thing. And then I say, "Great, that's what I do. I help people do that." And so that's how I answer now. That's how people ask me what I do. And it takes a little bit of courage to say that, but I built that courage up over 22 years, right? So in the beginning, when I say I failed miserably, I would set goals and not achieve them. And then I would say, "Okay, next celebration or next event, I'm going to be this rank, and I'd set the goal and I'm working on it. And sometimes I didn't hit it. Often I didn't hit it. But what happened was about year 3, Lisa, because listen, I'm a yellow, okay? I'm in it for the fun. Every event was so much fun for me. I love these people. I love our tribe. I love our community. People who are working on themselves and wanting to make their lives better and make other people's lives better. What's better than that? So I was having a really good time. And I was lucky that I could go to all the events, and I saved up my money to go to the events, and I invested in going to events. I was making less than I was earning in the beginning. I was earning less than I was spending in the beginning for sure. But after year 1 and 2, when it hit to year 3, Lisa, I had this really big epiphany moment. And
because I want to get to the epiphany, but what I want to know, because I know people do struggle with this, right?
Yes.
They want to talk to people. They want to make more money than they're spending. They want to get paid for their products, but it doesn't happen. When you wrote down your goals, or you had goals, did you ever make a goal today, I'm just going to talk to someone? Or was it, I'm going to get to executive, I'm going to get to, were those the goals? Or did you put in, because I think a lot of times people don't put the action as a goal. They put the they put the results that they want to achieve as the goal. And I'm curious, because you've had a lot of coaching, did you ever make the goal, today I'm just going to get my hands dirty, I'm going to get a little bit uncomfortable, because this is what I just did. Today I'm going to have an in-home, and I'm going to go find people to come to my in-home, right? That was the goal. The results I didn't do it to win welcome aboard. I did it because I was back in the trenches. What were your goals, and how did you know to alter it to start getting results?
That's such a great question, Lisa. And, one of the things I learned very early on in this business is personal and professional development with a compensation plan attached. Okay. So I was really working on personal and professional development. And so I started off just writing my rank advance goals. But eventually I realized that what I had to write down were my action goals. And then what happened, what was pretty amazing. Okay. So I would write down what I wanted to create. So that would be the outcome goal. And then I would write down what I was committed to doing every single day to get there. 3 new conversations, a follow-up, a pivot. So I started doing what you just said, which is writing down the action goals. And here's what's so exciting, you guys. I'll let you mute that. Great. Here's what's so exciting. When I stopped just writing down the outcome goal and I started tracking and writing down my daily action goals, I went from feeling like a failure to being able to win every single day. Because the action goals really were simple, right? They were simple things that I could control. I couldn't control if I signed up 10 people and helped them become a consultant, but I could control how many people I talked to. I could control how many times I followed back up. I could control how many times I pivoted and shared the vision and shared the story with someone. So yes, eventually I learned to write down the action goals, and I learned to set up my day to win. And so, you know, I know a lot of you that are on here, you may already be doing this, but if you're not, it's so powerful. I've got my book. It's somewhere else, but I track every single day how many new conversations I have, and I commit to a minimum of 10 right now. And I track every single day within those conversations, those or previous ones, how many pivots I did. So how many times did I turn it from whatever else we were talking about to talking about Isagenix? That's the pivot. And then how many presentations and appointments did I have? And how many enrollments did I have? So that's what I track every day now. And it's so easy to win. You know, if you set up the numbers you want to set up, you guys, do you want to set up 10 new conversations, 5 new conversations? Do you want to set up 5 pivots, 3 pivots, 10 pivots? Do you want to set up whatever numbers you want, depending on the time and the schedule that you have? I was blessed to be able to do Isagenix full time. Well, relatively full time. I had a part-time job in the beginning. So everyone gets to set their own numbers. But when you set those numbers, and write this down, you guys, this is something that I really started to embrace. When numbers are measured and reported, they are proven to improve. Okay. Now remember, I'm the fun girl. I'm the yellow girl. I'm here for Jimmy Smith's 80 dance party at Celebration, right? That's what I'm there for, right? Of course, I want to be successful and make money and have success, but I love fun. And setting up your day to win is really fun, right? It makes you feel so good. And if you don't have a target that you're going to hit, then you don't know if you won that day, right? And so, yes, Lisa, I really made it about action goals.
Thank you. And now I want to hear about the epiphany and
okay.
But I think it's so important to clarify that, because
Yes.
when we say I set goals, I think we assume everybody knows what that means. And there's a very big difference between setting result-oriented goals and action steps, like daily goals.
Yeah, there's even some numbers, you might know them, Lisa. You know, if your goals are written, you're like, 28% more likely to hit them. If your goals are written and measured, you know, you're like 60% more. And if they're written, measured, and reported, you're like 70% more likely to hit your goals. And so write down the actions you're committed to taking. That's the most important thing. And practice taking those actions. If you don't, every master was once a disaster. And the reason that I went so slow in the first 3 years is I didn't practice. Kathy Cooper said, practice what you're going to say, practice your scripts, practice your phone calls, practice. And I didn't. And so eventually I started practicing more and more because, well, I think David Wood came on. He made us all practice. So get ready for that, you guys. He's incredible. So about year 3, this is when, for me, I had an epiphany in year 3, and I saw all these people walking across the stage making all this money. And I was like, wow, and I could have beat myself up. And there were hard times where I did feel less than. And you guys have to understand, I came into this business with a lot of confidence, but really low self-worth. And sales will help you see how you feel about yourself. And it's okay. It's so good. Because once I discovered that low self-esteem, that low self-worth that was kind of hidden down inside of me, meaning fear of rejection, that has a lot to do with self-worth, self-esteem. Once I discovered that, I knew I could go to work on changing it. So year 3, I was sitting in a class and I was listening to all these top people, and I had this epiphany. And the epiphany was, Rhonda, all you have to do is decide and commit. And when I healed my body from an incurable disease, I was healed the moment I decided I was going to heal. It just had to catch up with the time. And it was no different for my business. And so the epiphany, Lisa, was I'm doing this. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care who goes faster than me. And I don't care how hard it feels. And literally, Lisa, I said 5 to 10 years. I knew it was going to take me 5 to 10 years. And so I had the long game in me. And no matter what showed up in me or in Isagenix or in my team, I can't control what's happening out in the world. I can't control what Isagenix does if they change something or there's a challenge or something happens in the world or, I can't change any of that, right? But here's what I want you guys all to Google and embrace and take on for your success. And that is the quote by Goth, until one is committed. Until one is committed, you guys, there's this quote, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to always draw back, always ineffective. And that line right there, it goes on to talk about how when you commit, that's when miracles happen, you guys. That's when providence moves. That's when you're going to get a phone call that you wouldn't have gotten. That's when you're going to run into someone at a store that wouldn't have happened. It's almost, I don't know if you want to call it God, the universe, however it all works. Your level of commitment is everything. And when I figured that out, Lisa, and I committed, that was it. I was like, year 3, there was no other outcome for me. There was no other reality that was going to happen. And at this point, I was making some good money, maybe about my same income that I used to have in my jobs. And I wanted to max out my center. So that's where I was in year 3 and still struggling with a lot of things like how to be disciplined, how to keep myself on track, how to talk to more people. Like I still had a lot of struggles, how to present, how to speak on stage, all of that stuff. But I made a decision, Lisa. There was no other outcome. And I don't know if you've made that decision, if you're on this call, but I promise you, if you make that decision today and you draw that line in the sand and there's no other outcome that's possible, you burn the bridges, read, Think, and Grow Rich, you guys. I mean, it's an ancient book, but it is so powerful. I studied every single book about success, like mindset ninja stuff. So that was year 3 and I made that decision and I got very, very clear on what I was going to create.
And did you find leaders quickly? Did you so people talk about, we talked about this last week, and it was crazy. My phone blew up after I made the comment. We hear go find networkers. Yes, people with networks who know a lot of people, that's always helpful. But network marketing really is a lot of people doing a little bit. And I didn't bring over, one person from another company and max out a leg. It didn't happen for me. It's been great leadership on my team, but they too didn't bring anybody over and ever. So what did your organization look like at that time? And did you ever feel for years that maybe you were the hardest working person in your organization, or were you fortunate enough right out of the gate to find people once you committed and you had the epiphany to find people who ran at your pace?
That's a great question. No, I was doing all the work. I was going to all the events by myself. I was the one who was bringing in people. I did have a couple builders on one side of my binary, but not on my other. And I was really showing up and, my team was really not growing very much in those years. And I was really doing all the work. And that really went on probably, I would say, at least to about year 5 for me. Now, I want everyone to say, some people go a lot faster. Some people go a lot slower. And the journey is going to be your journey. For me, I was committed. So regardless of how many people were showing up and how many people were building with me, I was going to find a way to do this. And so no, I didn't have a lot of builders in the beginning. Definitely not then, maybe one.
And what did you still find difficult? What do you still find difficult? Because I want to get into what you're doing now.
Yes.
With all the events and how you're, this moment in time, especially post-COVID, how we're all kind of building again. But But what was the most difficult for you on this journey, and where did you find the most ease?
Okay, well, so I around year 6 or so, I started to have more builders on my team, and I'm so grateful for the team I have today. It's just remarkable what we do together. But around year 6, I started having more builders, and my income like doubled, and everything was kind of cruising, and there was this momentum building in year 6, 7, 8, and it was really feeling incredible, Lisa. And I was so happy. I still felt like I was standing still because, I don't know about you guys, but when you see people walking across the stage that are making 7 figures or super high multiple 6 figures, and I was still making, low multiple 6 figures, I really felt like I was just standing still, because there's so much opportunity here. But what happened was we started to get into some momentum. The team really started to happen. A couple of the hardest things were, first of all, was out of nowhere, and I'm not even really, I don't even remember what caused it, but my income slid backwards. So I got to let's just say 200, and it slid backwards. And I had a period of about 5 years where my income was down, and that was very challenging, Lisa. Really, really challenging. I felt defeated. I felt like, maybe it wasn't possible for me. I really was beating myself up a little bit during those times, but I was still really, really committed on the bigger picture. And I had to really dig deep into my deeper levels of why during that time. My deeper levels of why were always my family. It was always about providing for my mom and my sister. And that really kept me in the game. If you have your why developed deep enough and you're committed to no matter what is coming at you. So I wasn't about to give up, but it was really challenging when my income slid backwards and stayed down for 6 years. And of course, you go to events and you see other people are having these massive upward cycles in their business. And, I had learned so much during these 22 years, right? And to not compare myself to other people and to just take 100% responsibility for my results. And the biggest thing that I learned, Lisa, during all of this time is how to really focus on what I'm creating and put blinders on, and how to stay more committed and more focused to the outcome than anything else that showed up, right? Any disaster or any struggle. I want to give you guys an example. So I work a lot with affirmations and visualizations and keeping my blinders on and staying focused. Like if you talk to anyone on my team and they call me up, you'll love this, Kathy. And they'll have whatever thing is in their, whatever distraction or difficulty that they're currently focused on, right? And it's for me, it was learning to really shift my focus all the time. So before the call today, I wanted to print something out in front of me and my printer wasn't working, right? And I was like, dang it, right? And you're trying to get this thing happen. And this is just a small example, but this is how I became a multi-millionaire. I choose what I'm going to focus on, okay? So the printer wasn't working. And so instead of getting stressed or mad or flipped or just giving up on getting the printer to work, I took a deep breath and I have a saying. I say, thank you for the magnificent outcome of today's United Leader Call. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I thank the universe, God, for what I want before I have it. And I'm not kidding you. In the middle of saying that, I had already canceled the print job because the printer wasn't working. And all of a sudden, the printer starts printing the piece of paper. And this is an example of how we have got to be in control of our focus, our emotions, and our energy. And I use these little hacks all the time. And so I always help my teammates say, okay, these are the problems, but let's focus on what we are creating and let's get excited about it and let's be thankful for it right now and let's get back to work on creating it, because those things that are showing up that are problems, they're only testing us to see how committed are you? How determined are you? How bad do you want this? And so I love the problems when they show up because they help me refocus on that final outcome, and then I surrender. And so thank you for the magnificent outcome You can write that down. Thank you for the magnificent outcome, and then just draw a long line. And you could do it before anything. You could do it before a sales call. You could do it before you go out on a date. You could do it before you go meet with your doctor. You could do it before you make your dinner. You could do it before anything. And here's what you're doing. You are co-creating a reality that you are desiring versus a reality that you do not want. And you're staying focused on the things that you want, not what you don't want. And it's remarkable work. So I had this really hard 6 years, Lisa. And I'm so grateful that I had those 6 years and I didn't give up, because the next 7 years were freaking amazing, right? Like 6 years of like struggle and businesses backwards and leaders left. And, I'm thinking I'm not good enough. And, 6 years of struggle. And then boom, what happens? Some more new leaders come in. I bring in some people. Team brings in some people. Isagenix brings in people. Isagenix goes into momentum. My team goes into momentum. And the next thing you know, I maxed out my center. So first I hit millionaire at year 10.
Can you tell everybody what maxed out? Because there's so many new people on every call. Great. Now we can talk about numbers, and that makes Jimmy very happy.
I'm going to tell you some numbers. So I hit $1 million cumulative earnings in year 10. Now I want you guys to know all my friends went way faster than me. So that's okay. Like Ellen Bradley and Lenny Evans and Jimmy Smith, all of you all went way faster than me. It just tells you what's possible, but don't beat yourself up if you're not going that fast. It doesn't matter. So year 10, I get the call that I had become an Isagenix millionaire number 77. And Kathy said to me, don't worry, the next millions come much faster. And I didn't even believe her, right? I was like, oh God, I was like, I certainly hope so. Because I had a good time over those 10 years, but I wanted it to be so much faster. And so that was year 2012. And by year 2015, so year 2012, I don't know, I was probably earning maybe, and again, these are results aren't typical, but they are possible. I was earning about $250,000 a year in my sleep, in residual income, and that's beautiful. And by year 2015, I was maxed out. And that was my goal when I committed back in my third year. And maxed out means you are earning $13,500 a week in that's 250 cycles. Thank you, Jimmy. I love you. and all of you, I get very excited because I know that it's a struggle, and I know that we have to dig deep, and I know that we have to overcome so much to get there. And it's the person I became along the way, you guys, that is the most priceless. And one of the things that I really worked on was my subconscious beliefs. And it's simple, you guys. It's very simple. It's reprogramming our subconscious mind. And you do that by listening to what you want your subconscious mind to believe. You listen to these recordings as you're falling asleep. So I listened to this audio. It's called it's called Hypnotherapy for a Millionaire Mind. Because I was raised, my dad was a factory worker. My mom was a waitress. I got C's and D's in high school. I never had the belief in me that I could be a millionaire. So from 0 to 7, we are programmed. Okay. From 0 to 9, we are programmed. What we see is what we believe. And so I didn't believe that I could be all of these things. And no one ever looked at me when I was in high school or junior high and told me that I was great. My mom was a waitress, and she was a single mom, and we moved like 12 times between the time I was born and the time I started high school. Holy moly. And I probably had like 6 different schools, or 7, from 0 to 12, which actually ended up being really good because it made me such a good person of being able to meet strangers, right? But it was really hard. And not one teacher ever saw my greatness. And then I come into this company and everyone saw my greatness. We have the best community, Lisa. And just you reaching out to me this past year and saying, I'm here. I care about you. And what we have here is a place we can all grow. And I wrote this down. earlier because I loved it. Challenging our beliefs, overcoming our fears, transforming ourselves so we can transform our business. That's what I did. Learning from others and finding the very, very best in myself. And this community has given me everything, everything in my life. I bought my mom a house. I bought my sister a house. My sister works at the time for 7 years in animal rescue. And she made like no money, right? It was her calling. She was saving freaking animals' lives, okay? Abused animals. She was taking them out of abusive places, bringing them, rejuvenating them, and finding them their forever homes. And that's what she wanted to do. And I bought her a house, Lisa, with Isagenix income. I bought her a house before I bought myself a house. And I retired my mom. Jimmy saw me and coached me and helped me believe. And everyone in this company helped me believe, even though I wasn't going the fastest, that I could get there. And I wanted to take care of my mom. And my mom was a waitress and she was a single mom and she was a waitress for 50 years. And when my Isagenix income got big enough, it was so easy for me to say, here, Mom, I'll just replace that income of yours. And I retired my mom, and then I've been able to do amazing things for myself. And Lisa, right now, I'm building a mamas and babies sanctuary down in El Salvador, where young girls are raped, unfortunately, and they become pregnant, and they're kicked out of their community, and it's not even their fault. And they're homeless, and I've teamed up with Airline Ambassadors, who is a beautiful company, charity, and I'm building homes for these women and their babies, and they're getting love and food and education and being able to take care of them while they're going through this process. So that's what this company has given me.
And it's amazing. I mean, amazing. And one of the things that you just get, and I think it's why, we click, when we help another person, and so many people only look at their own teams. And I was fortunate enough early on to be mentored by Jimmy Smith, who came to my house, and I didn't have any financial connection to Jimmy whatsoever. And he invited me to his home and showed me the number he came to my home. He always invites me to his home, and came to my home and helped my team. And we weren't financially connected. And what that did for me wasn't just inspiring me because of the numbers. It showed me the community. Mm-hmm. It showed me the heart of who Isagenix really is, the people in this company. And what we all need to remember is even if we're not in the best place in our own personal business, when we give to another person and we pour into another person and that person soars, and we're willing to sit back and there's no recognition for us, there's no praise for us, there's no anything for us, it's not about me, it's about that person, the good that they can then do in the world. And it boggles my mind that people want to hold somebody else back, or when we're having a really bad Isagenix day, that we would go vent to our downline or to a sideline and potentially take money out of their pocket by getting in their heads about something that could be changed tomorrow, or it's just our attitude. And that's why we have that saying, you always vent up. You always vent up. I mean, always. Sharon gets mine. But you vent up, and you work to keep each other in the game. You work to encourage and support. And pay close attention, you guys, to the people you surround yourself with in and out of the company, because it's very easy to be taken out. And when you're in it, you don't know how the world is going to benefit or the legacy you're going to leave. And, I couldn't let this call go by without mentioning what happened to Ash Good in Australia this weekend. And I don't know if any of you, if you're in the Australian groups, but there was a horrible incident that took place this weekend in Sydney. And we lost a girl in our start group from some maniac with a knife in a shopping mall. And her baby's fighting for her life right now in a hospital. And, this woman was killed and she threw her infant to strangers. And the outpouring of our community just saying, where can I donate? What can I do? The amount of people that band together this weekend to support this girl's family. That's what it's about.
Mhm.
And, it's just so much more than our little house and our little world and our little, kids' educations. It's like it becomes so small when that's what it's only about. And, I was doing this role really before Sharon asked me to come on and do this role because I got that. I always got that. And Jimmy, I thank you every single day. You're part of my gratitude prayer because you showed me that early on. You work together in the company. And I recently have been talking to a girl from my former company who left. She quit network marketing. She actually resigned without going to another company. And for years, I wanted her to come to Isagenix, and we've been friends for years. And she called me the other day and she said, are you still with Isagenix? Of course she knows I'm with Isagenix. Everybody knows. It's like no secret I'm with Isagenix. And, I was like, yes, of course I'm with Isagenix. And she said, well, I found a company and I'm so happy. And, I could tell she wanted to, compare. And I didn't want to beat her down. I didn't want to try to break her, break her faith in this company. And I said to her, send me a link. I'm happy to order products from you. And she said, you will? And I said, do you know how many people I order products from that are in different companies? I support the industry.
Yep.
Now, I think our compensation plan by far is the best. She doesn't have products that compete with anything that we have. And of course, and she was shocked. And I said, wouldn't you want to support me in my business? Shouldn't it be that way, that we support the industry? Because it stinks when we go out there and people think it's just we're cutthroat and everybody's just trying to pull people in their company, and people leave and they're trying to yank you out of your business and say these bad things. And at the end of the day, and Rhonda, you nailed it with this call, it is emotional fitness, period. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And most of us who are successful, however you deem success, we believe that we can. I believe I have the ability in this company to change lives. I also believe when I'm not working, I am small and I am stingy. And I'm like, too bad, rest of the world. Be broke, be uncomfortable in your bodies, be unhealthy, but I have enough for me, so I'll just stop right here. And I could have, and I think you all know that, retired. I don't need to be, Jimmy certainly doesn't need to be building his seventh leg. A leg is, when you max out your first business center at 250 cycles, that's $13,500 a week, plus your executive match on everybody underneath you. I mean, my goodness gracious, do we need to keep working? But yes, because there's a greater commitment. And I feel, Rhonda, always and every single time I hear you, you talk about the greater commitment and your willingness to grow as a human, your willingness to overcome, your willingness to do better in the world. And
So important.
my goodness gracious, of course you're going to be blessed with abundance. I mean, it's not shocking that you are as successful as you are and still going through ups and downs.
Yes, definitely. And every challenge has in it the seed of massive greatness, you guys. Every challenge has in it the opportunity for us to grow and become more. I got to the point in my life after going through so many challenges that I get really excited now when they happen instead of scared. And thank you for the magnificent outcome to this challenge. And I don't know where it's going to come from, but I know it's going to come from somewhere. And it might not even be me that has something, that I receive from it. Most likely I will, but I know somewhere, somehow it is in the greater good of someone. And I want to talk a little bit about events because we can all show up and make an event amazing. And I want to give you some of the ways that I show up for events. So first of all, either I need the event or the event needs me. Okay. So number one, I'm committed to every event. When Lisa called me and was talking to me at the end of the year about New Year's kickoff, and I had something on my schedule and I wasn't going to go, I was like, what are you thinking? Like, I couldn't even believe I wasn't going to go. Maybe because it wasn't a corporate event, Lisa, I guess. But I said, no. As soon as I got off the phone with her, I knew it. I knew the event needed me and I knew I needed to be there. So I went to the event. So write down that either you need the event or the event needs you. Now, when I go to the events, I want to share with you some of the fun things that I do. Okay. I go around the event room. Definitely if I'm going to be on stage, I do this, but even if I'm not, I go around the room and I introduce myself to the ones that are sitting there. The ones they're sitting there and they're like, they don't know anyone maybe, and maybe there's just two of them and they got their stuff and they're just like, right? I go right up to them. I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm Rhonda. What's your name? And I ask them their story and I find out why they're there and I find out about their dreams and I'm celebrating them for being there and I'm sharing excitement with them. And then I leave and I butterfly over to someone else and I go, I'm looking. Who doesn't have energy? Who doesn't have some love around them? Who maybe, I can feel it, right? You can see it. And you just go over to them. And I'm like, hey, how are you? I'm Rhonda. It's so nice to meet you. Where are you from? And then they tell me and I ask them questions and I encourage them and I celebrate them. And I've always done that. And when I go to events, I sit on the edge of my seat. You can ask Jeff Beebe. Thanks to Jeff Beebe and Debbie Beebe, I'm always in the front row now because they get there 3 hours before every event. But I sit on the edge of my seat and I've got my pad and my paper and don't talk to me. Like I am so focused on every syllable that is, I give that speaker all my love, all my gratitude, all my attention. First of all, they deserve it. They're up there on that stage. But you guys, what we give, we get back, right? And I take the events very, very serious. And it doesn't matter if I've hit my goals and I'm being recognized, that always feels great. And I work really hard to make that happen. And I love it when that happens. But even when it doesn't happen, I am there to celebrate everyone. And you guys, in our community, and you guys all know this, Sue was over, my beautiful neighbor, Sue. Hi, she is incredible. And she's building a massive team and we're working together and it's been remarkable. And she says, it's the community, you guys, where you can get over your fears. You can become what your dreams are. You can do that here. And it's a matter of never quitting. It's a matter of continually to work on yourself. I had to reprogram my subconscious mind to know that I could be worth. This company has paid me almost $9 million, Lisa. It's not typical, but it's possible. And because of that, I'm able to do what I'm dreaming of doing, which is taking care of these mamas and these babies and helping other people grow their lives and get out of debt and get healthy and make money and help others. And I just want to say that one of the things that I had to learn that was a big challenge for me, Lisa, was the schedule. And if any of you are in overwhelm, do you ever feel overwhelmed? Like, there's so much going on. And, you feel like when I don't have a schedule, I feel like I need to work all the time. And then I am working all the time. And then I feel guilty because I'm not spending time with my mom. I moved from LA here to be with my mom. And then if I'm working all the time, what is that? I might as well just be in LA. So the schedule is how I create a life that is of value. What's important to you, right? Right, Lisa? Health is important to me. Spiritual connection is important to me. My family is important to me. Time and financial freedom is important to me. Contribution is important to me. Fun and adventure is important to me. Personal growth and development is important to me. Those things go on my schedule. All of them. And when I have a schedule and I have my numbers, like you said, Lisa, your action goal, you set your action goal for the day and you schedule your time when you're going to do it. And then when you're cooking dinner with your sexy roommate, you don't feel bad. You feel great because you've nailed your schedule. And I wasn't running my life on a schedule. I was like, I knew when I was going to work and when I was going to not work. But until I actually wrote it all down and got my values on the schedule, one of my greatest mentors taught me, he said, less than 90% of the people on the planet even know what they value, and they don't have it on their schedule. And Lisa, that has changed everything for me. So I wanted to share that. I heard it so many times. Susan Sly used to teach it from stage over and over and over, and I never did it. And then I finally did it. And overwhelm just left my life. It's gone.
One of the things that I talked about, I came back from a coaching course that I was doing, and it was buffer days, free days, and focus days.
Yes.
Or you could do it as time, because, when you have a lot of responsibilities, your mom, kids, pets, your free days aren't always so free. But a free day is where we're not guilty and obsessing, or free time about what we should be doing. We're just present in who we're with and what we're doing and enjoying. Mark and I had that time together this morning, and it was really important for us to just sit and talk, just connect and not talk about the kids or work, to talk about us and just talk. That's our free time or a free day. I had two amazing, I didn't talk about anybody else but Gianna in Milan, totally free days, which was great. I wasn't talking to my mother while I was talking to Gianna, texting the other kids. They were free days. We blocked them out. Yep. And then and then your focus time, it's when you're focused on Isagenix, you're not doing something else. And your focus time is income producing activity. It's not this call. It is not social media. It is when you're putting an order in, when you're prospecting, that is your focused time, anything that will create income. This is personal development. This is different. These are called your buffer days, buffer time. Your buffer is you're on Zooms, you're going to events, you're learning, you're talking to other people about it, you're watching the videos in the back office, you're setting up your website, those are your buffer days or time. And if we were really to get rigorous on our calendar, which I am, and there's no coincidence that when I completed this course, and you all heard me talk about buffer free and focus days, when I looked at my calendar, there were a lot of buffer days, but I didn't have the focus days because I was still waiting for my team to go do what I was telling everybody else to do, and I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
And then I got busy and I made it more heavily focused on the focus days. And now my free days feel like I deserve them. Yes. I feel, you don't feel, because I felt guilty when I was with my kids and things weren't happening, or my cycles were going the other way. And the only way to alleviate that guilt when we're building a business like this is to have those income producing or focused days. And it works. So however you write it on your calendar, we all should be to be incredibly, and people can argue the number, but I think bare bones minimum, if you're looking for a 6-figure income in this business, you need to put 2 people in a week, period. Up to me, nobody else. It's not up to my 2 people to go find 2 people and find 2 people. It's up to me, 2 people a week. That really is not a lot. And when I did my IVs in the gyms, it was way more than 2 people a week to keep those doors open. It was hundreds to keep those doors open, and to not only keep the doors open, but to stay in the out of the red. And this is what 2 people, 6 people, two people a week. And some people aren't even getting 2 people a month. And then
If you're not getting 2 people a month, know that you can improve. You will get there if you keep working on yourself. And consistency is everything, you guys. So schedule those times when you do your reach outs and your pivots and your appointments and your income producing activities, and don't miss a day, because write this down: daily consistent action, daily consistent income producing actions. And of course, you got a day or 2 off, that's fine. Daily consistent income producing actions equal momentum. That's how you get to enrolling 2 people a week. And how you stay there is staying consistent. And daily income producing actions equals momentum, which equals time and financial choices. That's how you get there, you guys. It's not magic. And you might be really bad at all of it when you start, and you might get a little bit better after year 1, and you might get a little bit more better after year 2, and then you might get even a little bit more better after year 3. And my message is, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Those dreams are in your heart because you have what it takes to get there. I promise you, it's inside of you. You just need to keep digging, and just keep going, keep working on yourself, keep working on your business, keep working on your schedule, keep, and just make a decision today. There's no turning back. Burn the bridges. There's no other outcome. That is going to get you there. And then it's a matter of how long it's going to take for you. For me, it took me 10, 11, 12, 13 years to max out my business. I'm 22 years in this business. I love this business, and I'm excited to help everyone on my team max out. I'm excited to help all of you max out. I'm excited to max out my next centers. I'm never stopping. We've got the greatest gift on the planet. So thank you, Lisa. Gosh, your calls to me meant everything. And that's what we get to give people. We get to give what Lisa gave me, which is, I see you. I'm here for you. Let's do this, sister. I got you. Be the lighthouse, you guys, in this dark, stormy time. Turn your light on. Be excited. That's what we're doing.
Love you. Thank you for that. And
I love you.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful call you poured into each and every one of us. I know you touched me today. And, you never know how we're going to show up for somebody just by reaching out. And, karma's karma. It came, you saw so many people and you went up to them. And I came to you at the time where you needed, and isn't it always perfect how it just happens to work out that way? So I love you dearly. Thank you for pouring into every single person and reminding us that no matter where you are or where we are on our journey, we have an opportunity to grow and develop, and we can change everything just by changing little steps throughout the day. So thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, everyone. Happy Monday. Love you guys. Love our company. I feel so blessed, and we
Siento
are.
muy bendecida. Gracias. Bye. Son increíbles.
Thank you.
Gran trabajo. Gracias.
Rhonda, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Hey, Teddy.
Thanks,
See you.
Lisa.
So much, Rhonda.
Bye, honey.
Biggest heart.
Gracias.